Today's headlines: no sayonara for Paalam. Metro lockdown commences. Po serves Maynilad, Manila Water warning. Win pushed as Sara's VP. Nothing to hide. House commits to push Bayanihan 3. Shares weaken as ECQ begins. Moderna says COVID vaccine durable for at least 6 months. Eala exits Winners Open. Southwest monsoon to bring more rains in the country. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is Friday, August 6, 2021, and here are the latest news of the hour. Ranged against a Japanese rival, Carlo Paalam did what he was supposed to: dominate. The Filipino fighter overwhelmed Ryomei Tanaka to hammer a unanimous decision win and barge into the gold medal match of the men's flyweight class in the boxing competition of the Tokyo Olympics at the Kokugikan Arena yesterday. Paalam's victory, however, overshadowed Marshall's setback as he carried out his camp's fight plan to the hilt, a simple but potent jab-straight ploy that proved enough to overpower Tanaka and erase the stigma of featherweight Nesty Patesia's loss to Japanese Sena Irie in their gold medal bout last Tuesday. Those 1-2 combinations proved too much for Tanaka to absorb and at the same time neutralize as the Cagayan de Oro took charge from the get-go, controlled the tempo in the next with clear shots to the head and body, and sustained his attack to the finish to essay an emphatic 5-0 romp. Tanaka tried to rally in the third, but the game Paalam foiled him with his jabs while unloading more straights to earn 30-27 verdicts from 4 judges. The fifth official scored it 29-28, also for the Filipino ace. But while Paalam 23 moved on the threshold of rewriting Philippine sports history in 2 weeks' time, top gold medal prospect Yumir Marshall dropped a heartbreaking split decision, lost to Ukrainian Alexander Kizniak in their middleweight semis clash. Checkpoints within Metro Manila were activated on midnight to restrict, starting today, Friday, the mobility of people as the capital region reverted to the strictest lockdown status set by the government. On Thursday, a day before the imposition of the enhanced community quarantine from 6th to 20th of August, Malacanang assured the public that the government is prepared to implement stricter curbs in the metro. The hard lockdown was imposed on the recommendation of the Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases to stem a possible surge being blamed on the more transmissible Delta variant of the virus. The private group Octa Research said Metro Manila may see as many as 30,000 cases daily in recommending a 2-week lockdown. The Department of Health, while not supporting Octa's interpretation of COVID-19 data, has conceded the need for a stricter quarantine. On the other hand, Laguna, Iloilo City, and Cagayan de Oro were also reverted to ECQ, while other parts of the country were also placed under stricter lockdown classifications from 6th to 15th of August. Cavite, Rizal, and the rest of the Iloilo province and Lucena City in Quezon province were placed under modified ECQ during the same period. Meanwhile, the provinces of Batangas and Quezon were reclassified under general community quarantine with heightened restrictions from 6th to 15th of August. From 8th to 15th of August, the municipality of Gingoog would be placed under GCQ with heightened restrictions following the quarantine classification of its mother province, Misamis Oriental. Not so fast, Maynilad and Manila Water. Senator Grace Poe vowed Thursday to look deeply into measures that seek to grant the 2 water concessionaires 25-year franchises. Poe issued the statement as the House of Representatives passed on third and final reading House Bills 9422 and 9423, granting separate 25-year congressional franchises to the two companies. She said the bill should also address the looming water scarcity exacerbated by the growing demand for the commodity and the lack of urgency in tapping new sustainable sources. Opposition House members have appealed for the recall of the approval as they questioned what Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez described as indecent haste in the bill's passage. Rodriguez lamented that only selected House members were invited to attend the single committee hearing on the measures. Bayan Muna Representative Carlos Zarate backed Rodriguez and censured the supposed impetuous approval of the measures. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio is 100% running for president next year and should pick Senator Sherwin Win Gatchalian as her running mate, an ally of the president's daughter, said Thursday. Albay Representative Joey Salceda said he is certain that Duterte Carpio will be a presidential candidate in the 2022 general elections, even if the latter has yet to confirm that intention herself. The lawmaker disclosed that Duterte Carpio has indicated that security and development will anchor her government's doctrine. The national interest, the Solon said, includes counterterrorism, migrant workers' rights, global tax reform, and a common ASEAN policy respecting the members' territorial claims. On internal security, he said Duterte Carpio wants sustainable countryside development to erase the raison d'etre of the local insurgency. She will also push for the Bangsamoro Organic Law and enrich the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, according to the lawmaker. The local chief executive has been consistently leading nationwide presidential bet surveys. Among the political personalities courting Duterte Carpio to be her running mate, Salceda said Gatchalian would be the best choice. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Fiber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Fiber now.
Every time I'm on the road, I can expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. Now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. Critics of Senator Panfilo Lacson and Senate President Vicente Sotto III may now throw everything their way, including their proverbial kitchen sink. Having offered themselves as presidential and vice presidential candidates in next year's elections, Lacson and Sotto yesterday said that they have nothing to hide and that they are clean. In a television interview, the two lawmakers emphasized that their competencies and performances as seasoned legislators and public servants may be considered as common knowledge. Lacson chimed in that they will start minding the surveys when all presidential aspirants have already filed their candidacies. He would not mind the triads right now, as commenting on such tirades cannot be productive. The Lacson and Sotto tandem for 2022 will banner the battle cry slogan KKK or kakayahan, karanasan, katapangan under former House Speaker Pantaleon Bebot Alvarez's revived Reforma Party. Lacson said it was Alvarez who was instrumental in convincing him to run for president next year. Others who urged him to run were his former boss in the Philippine Constabulary, former Armed Forces Chief Renato de Villa, and former Generals Rodolfo Biazon and Mariano Mison, Lacson said. Another general who he cannot name also convinced him to seek the presidency, the Reforma Party standard-bearer said. Meanwhile, Albay Representative Joey Salceda on Thursday stressed that the House of Representatives remains committed in passing the proposed third Bayanihan law to provide 2 rounds of cash assistance to all Filipinos amid the looming enhanced community quarantine implementation in the National Capital Region. The lawmaker, who is also the chair of the House Committee on Ways and Means, revealed that it is the official position of the House under Speaker Lord Alan Velasco to pursue Bayanihan 3, particularly the 216 billion pesos funding to disburse cash aid worth 2,000 pesos to all 108 million Filipinos, regardless of their income status. He also pointed out that the implementation of ECQ in Metro Manila and nearby provinces made it imperative for Congress to pass a bill to help the affected individuals. The salon also proposed that funding for the cash aid can come from the President's Contingency Fund or from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. Salceda explained that at least 13 billion pesos is needed for the first round of cash aid distribution in Metro Manila, while an additional 16 billion pesos will be needed if pandemic-hit residents in Region 4A will also be given aid. The salon projected that about 1.1 million people from NCR and Calabar Zone are expected to lose their jobs with the implementation of ECQ, mostly those from the wholesale and retail trade and construction industry. At least 450,000 of them, meanwhile, are expected to shift part-time jobs. Salceda also forecasted that at least 405 billion pesos would be lost due to the lockdowns, while the economic growth would shrink by 1.1%. In other news, equities market took a breather after a recent run-up as the Bourse Index fell 37 points on the eve of the start of a hard lockdown in the National Capital Region. However, net foreign buying continued for the 4th day as second quarter results continue. According to AB Capital Securities Incorporated, the market was dragged by Eala Land Incorporated, SM Prime Holdings, Banco de Oro, and Eala Corporation, 3 of which have released results. Shares also retreated after U.S. Federal Reserve Vice Chair Richard Clarida announced that the central bank could taper the asset bond purchases later this year, opening up the possibility of rate hikes in 2023, Regina Capital Development Corp Managing Director Luis Limlingan said. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index dropped 37.94 points or 0.58% to 6,547.27 after moving from 6,539.91 to 6,605.46 on a volume of 78,400 shares worth 4.477 billion pesos. Clarida also expects sustained economic recovery. The ISM survey rebounded last month despite the more muted gain in private payrolls in 5 months in July. The pent-up demand also drove all the services industry's improvement. However, the hiring in the private sector disappointed as it only reached 330,000 in July. The ADP reported that there were dramatically lower gains in the construction and leisure and hospitality sectors. Moderna said Thursday that protection from its COVID-19 vaccine remained strong for at least 6 months, and the variant-specific booster shot at its testing generated a robust antibody response to Delta. In a final analysis from its Phase 3 or final stage clinical trial, Moderna's COVID vaccine showed 93% efficacy at 6 months following the second dose. The company is also carrying out clinical trials on 3 different COVID-19 boosters, with all of them producing high antibody levels against the original coronavirus strain and variants of concern, including Delta, originally identified in India. The statement added that Moderna expects to file a submission for full approval of its COVID vaccine with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration this month. The company has also begun studies for several other vaccines, including the flu, Zika, respiratory syncytial virus, and others, and is developing a COVID vaccine that can be stored at fridge temperature. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Manong Joe po,
At Ate Maita,
ngayong Hunyo, bahagyang tumaas ng 8 centavos per kilowatt hour ang overall electricity rates. Ito'y dahil sa dagdag singil sa WESM.
alam niyo ba, pwede kayong i-update na Meralco sa text or sa email gaya ni Sara G. Sisendan kayo ng advanced updates tulad ng upcoming bill details. Di na kayo kakaba-kaba sa paghihintay ng bills. At anumang mangyari sa bill, masira, mabasa, o mawala, no problem. To get updates, i-update ang inyong contact information sa Facebook Messenger, meralco.com.ph, email, hotline 16211 o Meralco Business Centers.
Handa kami makipag-ugnayan sa inyo para makapaghatid ng mas mabuti, mabilis, at pagkinhawang serbisyo.
Hanggang sa susunod na
Meralco Advisory.
Welcome back. And for our sports news, Eala was shown the exit door in her WTA campaign after falling short against Maya Sherif of Egypt 2-6, 2-6 in the second round of Winners Open in Romania Thursday afternoon. The 15-year-old tennis ace failed to progress into the next round of the prestigious tourney as she came short-handed over the more experienced Egyptian netter. A slow start proved to be too costly for Eala as the world number 119 Sherif immediately took advantage of her veteran experience to build an early 4-2 separation against the Filipino netter in the opening frame. Eala showed life in the early going of the second set, taking a 2-1 advantage. However, Eala missed her chance to even the match after dismal 0 of 6 breakpoint tries and was hounded by 8 double faults as her foe raised to a 4-2 lead. Sherif exploited the opening to punch a ticket to the quarterfinals. Prior to her defeat, Eala opened her WTA campaign in a stellar fashion when she swept Paula or Makea of Argentina 7-5, 6-2 in the opening round on Tuesday. The said tournament was Eala's second stint in the prestigious WTA Tour since her early exit at the Miami Open in March. In our weather update, the southwest monsoon is expected to bring more rains in many areas in the country according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration. Pag-asa said Ilocos Region, Zambales, Bataan, Benguet, Batanes, and Babuyan Islands will experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. The Weather Bureau warned of possible flash floods or landslides during moderate to at times heavy rains. On the other hand, Metro Manila and the rest of the country will be partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Temperature will range from 28 degrees to 31.4 degrees Celsius. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, the Department of Tourism, Araneta Center, MG Motors, Hira Motors, Security Bank, Overseas Community Affairs Council, Council Member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its Community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our Community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.